How close are you now to having your actual license? I know you're doing the solo flying.
I fly as close as I'm comfortable with to Boston, and then I turn around, basically. Um,
So Katie and I actually met on a cruise ship. She's an theoretical astrophysicist. So you studied dark matter, the early universe, galaxy formation, black holes, cosmic strings, and the ultimate fate of the cosmos. You have a new book, The End of Everything, astrophysically speaking.
I have to do this every
Yes,
time it comes up. Yeah. So
that is contractually obligated. But I don't actually have any idea what a theoretical astrophysicist actually like does.
the specific kind of work I do, I would call phenomenology. I talk to the theory people, and the theory people are the people who spend all of their time writing down equations. And then I talk to the observers, who are the ones who are designing new telescopes. I go to their conferences, I hear about, they're going to measure the neutral hydrogen in, the first few 100 million years of the universe. And then I try and find ways to connect what the observers can see with what the theorists are thinking about. That's the kind of in-between area that I work in. So in normal times, I do a ton of travel, and I go to conferences and I talk to people and I do collaboration visits. And
So you said that you're in phenomenology,
Mhm.
which sounds like the beginning of a Muppet song.
In physics, it's you're not a theorist and you're not an observer, but you're more of a theorist than you are an observer. And then phenomenology is sort of a branch of theory.
Is this where you thought you'd land?
What I thought I would be doing is I thought that I would be sitting alone in a room with a chalkboard, um, coming up with new theories of physics. I am actually sitting alone in a room with a chalkboard.
Right. Fair.
That is my life now. That is not usually my life. It turns out that my field is not solitary at all. That sort of creativity that you get when you're talking to someone and sort of going down a rabbit hole, that's like the sort of most productive part. Like I visited the Institute for Advanced Study recently in Princeton. At that institute, they have little pieces of paper and pencils at every lunch table, so that when you're at lunch, you can collaborate. And there are lots of chalkboards around. So
And actual chalkboards,
uh,
not whiteboards.
yeah, well, so the more seriously people take themselves, the more chalk they use, and then so this is the coffee mug that they give you when you visit.
Is it a
Last second.
chalkboard coffee mug?
Yeah, so you can write your
Do
equations right on the.
you know how you're in the hotel and you can spot someone that's in your group?
So I straddle these worlds, right? I go to theoretical physics conferences, I go to astronomy conferences. Astronomers dress just casual most of the time, maybe a little on the nerdy side. Physicists are more likely to dress a little bit more formally.
So, what is the most painful part of your job?
I mean, everybody hates grading papers.
Okay.
The fun part is the actual calculations and the coming up with ideas, going to conferences, presenting your work. All of that is the fun part.
Do you have any good examples of this super annoying thing?
I mentioned that there are some egos in my
Yeah.
field. If you are giving a talk, for example, and people are jumping in to challenge everything you say, there are people who will specifically say something like, "Why is this interesting?"
Wow.
That sort of immediate challenging, like, "You have to convince me of this."
Hmm.
That kind of attitude can be really rough when you're
Yeah.
a junior person. I gave a talk a while ago that was just totally derailed. So somebody challenged me on something that had to do with basically string theory, and I was like, "I think it's okay," and they just like would not stop. So
Yeah. That sounds extremely unpleasant.
they're doing calculations in this theory that's like sort of alternative to dark matter, and this prominent person stood up and at the question time and said something along the lines of, "What do you think is more likely, that there are fairies at the bottom of my garden, or that Mond is true?"
That is terrible, and I'm absolutely writing that down verbatim. And going to, what is the thing that you're currently nerding about?
I guess the thing that I'm most excited about right now is vacuum decay, which you know about if you've read my book. And I guess you could call that a theory, the metastability of the vacuum. That is the thing that makes me smile when I think about it, which is deeply morbid. The universe, like, spontaneously, tearing itself apart, sort of. I mean, there's just something amazing about that. So.
Yeah. It's like astrophysicist, mad scientist, bent on global domination. It's hard to tell sometimes.
I'm not trying to cause vacuum decay. I think that would be really difficult. Every time I've tried to calculate it, I can't find a way to do it. So, I mean, come on, like,
What gives you job satisfaction as a theoretical astrophysicist?
I don't know, like having a good idea, having a paper that people like, that people say nice things about, having a talk that goes well, understanding something new. I see in the chat, like, if the theory is proven, theories are never proven. I mean, it's very rare.
This was super exciting and a lot of
Oh,
fun.
good.
Thank you to everyone who asked questions. And once again, thanks, Katie.